The Palestinian Museum, which recently opens its doors in the West Bank, is presenting its first ever exhibition. Our culture correspondent Maya Margit has more on why it's going straight to the core of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Jerusalem, a city holy to three religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. It's often been at the heart of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, with Israel declaring Jerusalem its eternal capital, and the Palestinians claiming the eastern part of the city as the capital of a future state. It's a hotly contested point, one the Palestinian Museum's first ever exhibition is trying to hammer home. Titled Jerusalem Lives, the new show in the West Bank town of Birzeit examines the importance of Jerusalem to Palestinians.
We chose Jerusalem to speak about the situation in Palestine. Through the prism of Jerusalem, we would like to talk about the situation under which all Palestinians live under Israeli colonial military rule. So what a better subject than Jerusalem?
The aim of this exhibition was really to provide a way for us to think in a very creative way. How can we resist this hegemony of Israeli occupation that is facing the city of Jerusalem through a cultural stance? And how can we present Jerusalem to the people of Palestine that can't go to Jerusalem?
The exhibition attempts to emphasize a political point, one that clashes directly with Israeli narratives on Jerusalem and its holy sites.
What would happen to this less than a square mile if we weren't here? It would descend into horrible sectarian violence.
Several Palestinian officials attended the show's opening. When the museum first opened its doors a little over 1 year ago, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas himself gave a speech. The museum is the biggest of its kind, dedicated to Palestinian culture, and cost almost $30 million to build. Films, posters, and installations. Every work here has a message for viewers.
Basically, the curator is trying to demonstrate how globalization has started in Jerusalem and has failed in Jerusalem. So there is a series of films, interactive material, posters, documentaries, and some artwork by many Palestinian and international artists.
But the goal is not simply cultural. At the Palestinian Museum, art and politics are intimately linked, with history and land at the core of the discussion. Maya Margit, i24 News.
A great piece, and it's really, it's a shame because you weren't able to physically, go there, and it's just something that just seems so chaval and unfortunate that here we're having, creative people on both sides of the conflict, yet the conflict still exists.
That's right. We tried several times here at i24 News to reach out to the Palestinian Museum. Unfortunately, we didn't get any response, and we think that might have been for political reasons because this is an Israeli channel. A year ago, when they first opened, we did cover the opening of the museum, and a bus full of Israelis came to visit the museum, but the museum was then heavily criticized for allowing Israelis inside. So politics and culture, as I mentioned in the report, are never that far apart, unfortunately.
Right, which is a shame because we're seeing even, we have Yvonne Saban, she's a DJ, and even last week, getting copyrights for songs of all of these women that are dancing and coming out against the own sexual discrepancies in their culture, yet it still exists when we all want the same thing.
It's unfortunate that even today, where there's this major museum, it's the biggest museum of its kind for the Palestinians, that Israelis who maybe want to go and visit and learn about the other side of history can't do so, or they might be looked down upon if they do so. And some Palestinian artists are not allowed to talk to Israelis because of political ramifications or pressure from within their communities.
Which is, the whole thing is dialogue, and it's like if we can create a dialogue through this, and that's how you kind of make the change, and it's.
And that's one of the things the curator of the museum herself said of this exhibition, Reem Fada. She said it's about connections, vitality, and agency. So even in her official statement, she said that connections were important to this museum and that they do want to show that Jerusalem, specifically for this exhibition, is for everyone.
Right. Okay. Well, anyway, it's a continued conversation.
That's
clearly.
right.
Hopefully by next year it'll be different.